global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. The team of Fubara and Oko Jumbo led assembly are firing on all arsenals. I can tell you for free, they are definitely using all the laws that is strong enough to back the assembly. They are definitely enacting it and invoking the laws that is definitely working against the ProWike Lawmakers. I'm talking about Martins Amaewhule and the 25 defected lawmakers. As we speak, they are invoking the law of the Nigerian Constitution against them, and they are insisting that this must be carried out in as much as Nigeria is still a federation and that law that part of the Constitution has not been amended. You're going to get to hear what they're demanding for. If you ask me, the Martins Amaewhule led team are definitely in some sort in for a very rough, long ride. And how this judiciary team would be able to, meander them out of the situation is left for all Nigerians to see. But before we go into the newspaper, kindly subscribe to our channel. Let's listen to them as they tell us exactly during their plenary what they want and what they invoked against Martins Amaewhule team. And we'll come back with my colleague.
Whereas Section 99 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, clearly states, any person who sits or votes in a House of Assembly as a state, knowing or having reasonable grounds for knowing that he is not entitled to do so, commits an offense and is liable on conviction to such punishment as shall be prescribed by a law of the River State House of Assembly, Mr. Speaker. It has come to the attention of this Honorable House that 25 former members of the Rivers House of Assembly haven't defected to another political party other than the political party under which they were elected have lost their seats in accordance with the provisions of Section 109(1)G of the 1999 Constitution. In light of the foregoing, I move that this House, this Honorable House, firmly resolve to invoke the provision of the Constitution, Section 99 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, against the 25 former members who, despite losing their seats, have unlawfully continued to sit. That's my second prayer. Direct that all necessary actions be taken without further delay in accordance with the aforementioned constitutional provisions. It is clear. The draft constitution, that section is clear. And as of today, Mr. Speaker, it has never been amended. And that section stands, Mr. Speaker. And we are not in a banana republic where people will just be conducting themselves unlawfully. Mr. Speaker, I wish without further delay that we invoke that section of the Constitution. To hold this individual accountable and ensure that they face the full consequences of their breach of the law.
All right, welcome back. You've heard what they said. They're literally calling Martins Amaewhule and he said 25 other lawmakers impersonators, that they're not supposed to sit, but they are sitting as assembly members when they have defected, and the law is sacrosanct and self-executory when one defects without any issues at all in such a person's party. And for them to still keep having plenary session or their own faction of plenary session is definitely kicking against the invoked constitution, part of the section of the Constitution they have invoked, and they're literally calling on those who are meant to enforce this to happen. My colleague is in the house. What's your take, literally, because this is a new dimension that Martins Amaewhule led team have not seen. And just don't forget that next week, this week you're entering precisely, Fubara will be presenting the 2025 budget to the Oko Jumbo led team, and they're demanding that the law be invoked on the impersonators of Martins Amaewhule and others. What's your take on this, please?
Well, on this issue, I must say that it's quite disturbing that unfortunately it seems as though uh, um, execution, or would I say, interpretation and execution of our constitution is one-sided, especially when some persons are involved. For me, I did not believe that these guys will be out, and despite the fact that the the Oko Jumbo's House of Assembly have publicly announced their exit by invoking the provision of the Constitution in Section 109. And the government, or let me say the judiciary, or even the police are not doing anything, because as at this point, if this kind of a thing should happen in a sinner claims, the police should be the one that will go out as, the agency in charge of this kind of thing to make sure that their gathering is not permitted, just to make sure that they sit back and wait until the election is possibly conducted before they can, start proving themselves or showing themselves forth like that. But unfortunately, what we are seeing today is something very different. In our very eyes, we see them, they are gathering, they are doing their own thing. Nobody can stop them. Making demands on even the legitimate House of Assembly. So it's quite disturbing. But however, it's good enough we wait to see what the Supreme Court will say, because I still believe that though this is self-executory, unfortunately the Supreme Court, or let me say the Judiciary, seems find itself trying to talk over something that is self-executory, and I'm just wondering why it should get to that level. But let's sit back and watch and see what will happen in the nearest future. But I must say that quotation and the invocation of the Constitution in that respect should be something that speedily the executive should rush in and ensure that it is being carried out by closing down on whatever place that they normally gather and stopping them from gathering, because as far as the Constitution is concerned, they are illegitimate in all respect.
All right, one more question before we wrap this up. There's something that happened some few hours ago, but let's start with what INEC said. INEC said that come mid-December, they will be, conducting by-elections, of which I perceive and I believe very strongly that Rivers State will be among them. Now, while INEC, of course, have removed that court injunction, put in by Martins Amaewhule, that they halted INEC from holding any form of election in Rivers State concerning the State House of Assembly. Now they have removed it, of course, so now INEC can move in and hold elections. But the unique thing about what they're demanding for is that they have gone also to invoke some parts of the Constitution, insisting that for over 156 days now, the Edison Ehi and Oko Jumbo led assembly have not joined them to hold their assembly. Therefore, they are declaring those seats vacant, and INEC should rush in come that mid-December and hold that election. And Oko Jumbo's team has also called on INEC that, look, these guys have defected without any issues whatsoever in their parties, PDP party. For that reason, it is self-executory. They have lost their seat. Can you quickly come that mid-December, hold the election? Now, the question that's in the mouth of many is, who is INEC going to declare seats vacant? Is it going to be the 25 lawmakers who, according to the law, is self-executory? Or would it be Oko Jumbo? Being the fact that up till now, Martins Amaewhule led assembly are still sitting, and there is no form of arrest of any kind over their so-called factional sitting. What's your take, please?
Well, on that issue, I think it is left with judiciary. But if you listen to what, number one, the Martins Amaewhule's assembly had done before now, don't forget that they rushed to the House of Assembly, to the court, and they put in an order, or they got an ex parte order restraining INEC from holding election to remove them from office. That was to point to the direction that they knew that what they did was against the provision of the Constitution. But they were trying to look for an escape route out. And unfortunately, the judiciary has provided the escape route for them, which we are still waiting to see what will come up at the end of the day. So that restraining order was to let Nigerians know that they are in the know that there are ex-lawmakers And even the response by INEC was carried out before they also made recommendation for elections to be held in 5 constituencies where the Oko Jumbo House of Assembly is from. So right now, it's very dicey because Supreme Court is about to handle that issue. And I don't know what the Supreme Court issue will be. But don't forget that Supreme Court, the only thing Supreme Court is holding against Fubara is the fact that he withdrew his case when the case was not closed. So, which also means they can also kickstart a new one based on the fact that there was already an announcement. Since everything we have to go to court to confirm, because already based on the fact that AEs has invoked it from the first day that they come, that was enough, to prove that these guys are no more. Because somebody woke up and demanded that elections should be held. But
they have also removed their affidavit that they swore that they are defected. So where would that place the court?
Well, what will happen is that the minute of that particular day is still in existence. The media had captured it. And I believe also that whoever that was there as the Secretary of the National Assembly or the State Assembly has also captured it. It was there. The media has captured it.
But it's funny, if they can remove affidavit that is in court, is it the minute that they are sitting that they know that they will not remove it, they will not cancel that meeting?
Don't forget, it was raid on, it wasn't raid on the station, it was raid in the Halo chamber. On that particular day, they sat. And the purpose of their sitting was to decamp. So and they made it public. It wasn't something that was, we saw them after their decampment. He sat back and read all their letters. When he sat back and read all that, in the eyes of the media, we all saw it. Up till today, that is still in existence. And so that particular day, the minute of that day will also let us know if that was true. But the truth is that it was true. And don't also forget that no matter how fast they will be, there are some people who have those documents in place, because the withdrawal, there was an entry at a point, except they are going to totally write up the register, because when you go to the court to do affidavit, they will enter it.
Yes.
That you in a register, that this person has come to obtain affidavit, blah, 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 and the date will be stated. So there was already a particular affidavit to that effect. So all of that points to one direction, that these guys are stranded beings. They are only trying to make it look as though they are correct, but they know that they are liars. So even if the Supreme Court will come up with any issue to say they should be out, the truth is that there had been an announcement. And that announcement made it valid. So they can also go to court and say, these guys have refused to decamp, although there is a provision. So we are coming here to legitimize it, using the court, since it seems as though our constitution is too weak to be self-executory. We are coming here right now to the court. They had cross-carpeted. On this date, see the proof here, see the proof here, see the proof here. If the court now decides that the media, this thing, and the other documents provided is not enough, so we now know that the judiciary has brought out a new precedent. And that new precedent is let me call it jurisprudence. Another principle of law has come out, that any evidence provided by media or possibly by a register of the court is not valid. So we will be holding that, so that peradventure, if someone is being attacked or armed robber enter into a place and they capture the CCTV and take it to court, the court will reject it based on the provision, based on this case. So using this as a case study. So it's going to be very dicey. It's still a very long journey. So we are still waiting to see how things will play out.
So meanwhile, while we are still waiting for that long journey, Fubara should continue with governance and ensure that the 2025 budget is passed, and so that the Rivers people will not suffer. This is getting quite interesting, and the drama is getting dicey.
And in event of presenting that particular budget and they reject it, Fubara can represent it when the elections have held again. He can present both 2024 and 2025 when they have held the elections. That's talking about for those 25 lawmakers. He can hold exactly, so that it will be okay.
All right, let's go wrap it.